A brief message from your friendly neighborhood editing Jordan. We tend to try to keep things pretty PG-13 around here, but this is an improv podcast. So, who knows what we're going to say. Sometimes we throw in some swearing, some sexual content, and some violence. So, as a general warning, viewer discretion is advised. Also to be noted, the opinions stated about a certain tabletop role-playing game are just that, our opinions. We love the game and we like talking about it. So, any criticisms are really just all in good fun. That being said, wizards, please hire us. All right, with that out of the way, let's get on with the show.
You know, it says record to the cloud, and I imagine that's not worthwhile, but I'm interested in experimenting.
The cloud
Which
is a
cloud? Does it just like pick one at random?
It just says the cloud. I guess we'd have to go find it.
okay.
I could stop the recording and check, but I can't check now.
Cloud is a unknowable place.
What if the lady is the cloud?
But what if there are no, like, it's not cloudy right now. It was sunny today.
That's not.
It was?
I don't like this bit. I
didn't go outside.
I love this bit.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Nat One Podcast, aka Nope, because nope, you're not gonna want to hear what we're about to have to say. I'm Pertuset.
I'm Levi.
And I'm Jordan.
Actually, that's not true. I did go outside, but I just didn't look at anything.
How did you not observe whether or not it was sunny
fair.
outside?
The only time I really notice is like if I'm driving and it's in my eyes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not really checking the sky to make sure on a day-to-day basis. I mean, if it's raining, like I'll know it's not because it's raining. But
Wouldn't it be
Sometimes
funny?
it can be sunny and rain.
Imagine if like the cloud actually made clouds. Like the more storage we get, there's too many clouds, and so they're like, guys, you gotta quit using cloud storage. There's too many clouds. We need sunlight again. But people keep using cloud storage.
Well, it's like how NFTs are melting icebergs.
Yeah. Coming soon, weather.
Part 4.
we've done 3 of those.
Yes, we have. And 2 weather 2s.
Did we actually accidentally?
Yes, we
weather
did.
Oh man.
Let's talk about cosplay.
Yeah.
Crop slay.
Yeah.
Cop slay.
Cosplay.
Coldplay?
True. I was gonna say I can't think of any other ones.
Is that a Coldplay song?
No, I think
Okay.
Taryn would have been very mad at you.
He
I'm
would.
not
I
sure.
always get Coldplay and one other one mixed up, and he
You
gets really
you just
upset
did
about it.
Nickelback is what you did.
Yes, I get Coldplay and Nickelback.
Those
mixed
are
up.
really different.
That's what Taryn said too.
Oh my god.
Even I know that, and I don't really listen
Do
to
not know the difference. In my brain, they are the same band.
Oh my god.
This isn't even a bit. This has been a genuine conversation that Taryn
Okay,
and I had.
All right,
New
so Jordan's
idea.
cosplaying a music fan right now.
New idea for
Yeah.
new code names, just bands. And Taryn is the spy master.
Yeah,
Taryn
except
will
for
have a stroke because he'll
the-
get so upset.
the hint can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be any like length of words. You just say whatever, and we still don't get the answer.
Yep. It's just gonna be Taryn seething the episode.
Yeah.
It's
He's gonna list off all these albums, these songs, these events they did, and I'm gonna be like, I'm locking in Journey again. This time for real. No, okay. Okay.
At some point, you'll be correct.
Exactly.
Journey's not even on the
It's
board.
not on the
Journey's-
board. All right. So I don't really know where to start. Cosplay. That's pretty
Cosplay.
cool.
It's funny. I talked about cosplay during my stream yesterday too.
Really?
Didn't even know we were doing this.
It's orchestrated, coordinated, even
Yep.
Precisely. All things are
designed by the
predetermined.
fates. Yeah, the norm.
The what?
You're not gonna know that, but your kids are gonna love it.
I think that was a cheese throat thing. I don't think you heard it, Pertuset, but you made like a strange noise.
You gotta stop talking about the cheese throat.
I wish I could stop, but my doctor said I can't.
I'm the Norn.
You're gonna have a blast when we get to Zeal.
But yeah, no, cosplay. I think we came up with this idea to do an episode about cosplay when we were thinking about like, oh, we're gonna be going to Ren Fair and
Mm.
Jordan's making this dragon to take to Ren Fair. So then
Mhm.
we were like, oh, we've done cosplay on occasion, not all of us and not a super a lot. But we were like, we could talk about that a little bit. And we've been to some events that have had cosplay at them, which we've spoken of in the past. But we've never done just like an episode solely about cosplay. So we figured we'd give it a little talk. And we were going to try to have Ashlyn here for this episode, but she is elusive.
Mhm.
So, because Ashlyn is our resident, like she's the one who does it the most.
Mhm.
And regularly, like I think she's made like 3 outfits that she's shown to us in the past. So
She's the
at
one
the
that makes like
least,
actual characters.
Yeah.
'Cause she's really good. What was the one that she did recently that she actually did end up wearing to a convention?
She's done Mona and Freerin. I don't know if she actually wore
Yep.
Freerin, but she did do Mona.
Yep. And they were both very good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she also has outfits that aren't like characters that she does. Specifically, when we go to Ren Fair, she has this whole satyr get up she dresses up in as
Adorable.
well. So
It's
she
very
has
cool.
experience in making outfits.
Mhm. Yeah. Jordan knows a lot too, but you already know that because you've watched the Crafter workshop videos, haven't you?
Yup, you
You
better go.
definitely
I'll
been over
link
there, and
them
you've
right
definitely
here.
been watching all of our content, right? All 506 of you, as per
Yeah.
recording of this episode.
You've been watching the Terranria, the podcast, the Umineko, all of it, right?
You watch all of our content. That's why you're here. You
Consistently.
like every different piece of variety content that we do.
I don't know if like it's like I'm sure there's other channels like that, but I feel like we definitely have one of the most striated viewer
Mm.
bases of all time
Which
because
I
they're like it's really funny because they're like I'm here exclusively for the Umineko or I'm
I
here
know about
exclusively for
about-
Terraria.
About 1/5 of our viewer base watches the Uminekos. We usually get about 100 views for
Mhm.
those streams. So
It's really funny but weird. I like it.
yeah.
Keep being you. If you're a podcast only, Andy, you must have been here a while. Thanks, but also
True, yeah.
please branch out.
We got
Yeah,
all
watch our
kinds
other
of cool
stuff.
shit.
Most of our other videos, our streams especially, are basically like the podcast anyway.
Mhm. Precisely.
Just
Just
streams
with
of
more
consciousness.
or less people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Anyway,
We I say all that about Ashlyn. I gas her up when she's not even here, but she's not the only person that's done cosplay in this group, as evidenced by our Ren Fair episode where we talked about all of us
Everybody
dressing
dressed
up.
up.
Although, that brings me to a good point. I guess this is a question I'll ask both of you.
what?
Okay. Is there a difference between just dressing up and cosplay?
Yes, asterisks.
Because I said that out loud and I was like, but I wouldn't really consider what I wear to Ren Fair like cosplay.
Mhm.
I just consider that like an outfit.
Since
There
I
is a difference.
There is a difference. I feel like for like cosplay is a wide umbrella and you generally just call whenever you dress up cosplay. However, I think the like definition of cosplay is you are something.
Hmm.
Like you are dressing up as a character, usually one from pop culture. Like I don't know if it would qualify as cosplay if you're like dressing up as your own D&D character.
I'm
Well,
But that
of
may
the
just be me. Or
mind-
is it because it's a character? Like it's a
Well,
specific other character.
Yeah, I've seen it to where people dress up as OCs, so they'll cosplay as an OC of with whatever
So
environment,
then
you
yeah,
know.
that works.
But my definition is venue based. So like
Mm.
Renaissance Fair, you can dress up and not cosplay, like what you do, right? Whereas if you go to a con, it would be very hard to dress up but not be cosplaying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, what are you doing where you're like, no, this isn't a cosplay, but like, what are you wearing where people think that it is? You know what I'm saying?
I would counter the steampunk people that go to fairs and just wear their steampunk garb that go to conventions and don't dress up as like a specific
True.
thing. It's just a straight vibe.
Well, yeah, I
Okay,
don't think
well, if that's the
Pertuset's
case,
saying
then
that it's...
I'm putting them in the pin.
I was gonna say I don't think Pertuset's saying that it's like impossible to just
No,
be
that's what
dressed
he's
up at a
saying.
convention.
Only absolutes.
But it's definitely
Indeed.
like
I love absolutes.
at Ren Fair, it's like the vast majority of people are dressed up. They're not
Yeah.
a specific character. Whereas at a convention, the vast majority of people who are dressed up are cosplaying. They're not just generally dressed up as something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although there are a couple like that, like you mentioned, where like you've got people that just
Mhm.
kind of dress up in stuff that they think is cool.
True.
So,
Even still, though, I think at a con you could see people that are cosplaying as an OC, but they would rather call it as cosplay. But at
mhm.
Ren
Yeah.
Fair, it's less likely. They'll be like, "I'm just dressing up for Ren Fair."
Mhm.
So I think it's venue dependent. Is
I
my
can see that.
answer. What about you, Mr. Asker of the first question? That
Well, that
goes
was
hard. That was a hard epithet. I'm taking that back. Go, your turn, Levi. Asker of the first question is crazy.
That needs
Sorry.
to be the name of like a forgotten
That's
entity in
crazy.
Asker
D&D.
of the first.
That's
Like
like
an ancient scholar.
yeah, it's Aldia. It's Alia. What's the title?
Oh,
Scholar of the First Sin.
yeah, Scholar is the Asker of the first
Asker of the
question.
first
Oh
question.
my
That goes
God.
hard.
Anyway. Oh, the things you come
Well,
up with.
I was gonna say something roughly similar, just but then that also brings me into like, so I agree that like generally the line for me would be if you're doing something from a particular piece of media, whether that it can be any media at all. So like if you're dressing up as a character from Lord of the Rings for Ren Fair, I would technically count that as a cosplay. Like if you're Gandalf, you're dressed up for Ren Fair, but you're cosplaying Gandalf as well.
Mhm.
Um, so I just yeah, I think it's just if it's derivative of some form of media and not just something that kind of exists, which can be people's OCs too. If they're posting stuff about it on the internet, if it can be found, then I think it's a piece of media. But then that's what I was going to continue on saying is like, so what about like the people we see that like there was that one not this year but last year who was definitely Odin. He was definitely Odin from Greek mythology. Not
Uh,
Greek,
I was gonna
Norse.
say
Yeah,
you
I was
lost
like,
me.
what?
He was definitely Odin from Norse mythology. Is that a cosplay?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd say so since it's like derivative of another. Well, derivative's not the right word. Derived from another
Ultimately,
source.
what he was doing was he was cosplaying a depiction of Odin from
Hmm.
something that he saw.
True.
He wasn't just doing Odin in his mind's eye, which even still was probably heavily influenced by what he would have seen anyway.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I can agree with that
that'd be my
assessment.
argument. Now the
Yep.
copyright on it is totally free though because it's so old. But
No, Disney actually keeps renewing it every 20 years, so
how'd they even get that?
they
They
They got
have
the Greeks.
everything,
They
man.
got the Greeks. I don't know how
the
they got the
mouse
Norse.
sees all.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I think the best way to direct this forward now is going to just be let's talk about our personal experiences with cosplay one by one. So, Levi, you go first.
Okay. The first. Well, now I've been brought to another question, but I don't want to derail it. But I'm saying this out loud so that I remember I have this question.
Okay.
So the first, I guess, thing that you could consider um cosplayish for me. That's the thing is like I haven't really dressed up as a character for most of these events we go to that include cosplay. For Ren Fair, I've dressed as a samurai. That was probably the most in-depth one I've had to do just because of all the places I had to tie sashes and stuff. It was oh I'll never forget the time that I had to undo it to go to the restroom and then couldn't get it redone. So I had to have Ashlyn help me. Um, but yeah, no. And then for the past 2 years, I have this little outfit that I got when I went there. It's a little like night outfit, and I just wear that because it's easy to put on. It's a little front tabard that covers me, and I have some like pants and boots that I wear with it, and it's nice and it's easy. But I will say this is kind of like adjacent to this in a weird way that I had never really thought about before until now. I was in theater in high school and I put on costumes a lot for that and put makeup on my face and got my hair done and like it was a whole thing that usually took like perhaps an entire hour to get everything put on and go out on the stage and pretend to be this character and then sometimes I would do it when I wasn't on stage either like yeah no that's so in that case, I could say on a technicality that I have cosplayed or been dressed up at least as specific characters. One, two, three, four, four, five, 5 times, I think. 5 times.
See, if we're counting theater stuff, I'm going to be here for a while.
Yeah, because I was for those of you who know musical theater, I was Thénardier in our school's production of Les Mis. I was Curly in our production of Oklahoma. I was LeFou in our production of Beauty and the Beast, which was really funny because I'm 6'3".
It's a really good bit.
I will forever think that that is probably the funniest casting choice our high school ever did because I am the exact opposite of how LeFou is depicted in the animated movie where he's short and chubby. I'm tall and extremely lanky. So, and we did that on purpose. And I was some guy from a production like no one has ever heard of called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
I've heard of it. I love that show.
I was just a businessman in that, but it was a named businessman. I had a name. His name was Bert Bratt. So, yeah, I've been a couple characters. Oh, and I was one of the dads in Mamma Mia. I don't remember his name.
I also don't remember what you were because I was not in that show.
Yeah.
Somebody get Taryn on the line. He won't remember either. He hates Mamma Mia.
But yeah, so for me, I haven't really done a lot of cosplaying as characters that I'm like, I think this character's cool and I want to be them. It's been more so I wanted to be in a production of something. And so then, as a consequence of being in that production, I was forced into the position of I am this specific character. Okay, I shouldn't say consequences like that. That wasn't meant to have like a bad connotation to it. I just meant like as a series of events unfolding in that direction, I became that character, right? But
if you were not one of the monks in The King and I, then it's not a consequence. I say that as the only freshman man in that show that was not one of the monks in The King and I.
I remember that. True.
Lucky.
I got very lucky. They had to get waxed, all of them, mind you. And not just their arms, but their bellies and their chests and their legs.
The women and the children.
Not me, though. They also had to get spray tans.
That's what happens when you do The King and I in Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
They were dedicated to their craft. What can you say?
They were dedicated to pleasing our director. Anyway, well, thanks for sharing. I'm assuming that's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Okay. No theater doesn't count, Jordan.
Okay.
Anyway, it's your
Okay,
turn.
thank God. Then I'm not gonna have to go through all of that because this would go on for hours. I've also done my fair share of theater obsessively since I was 5. I am 24. So I don't know if I've only technically cosplayed once because I made Arlo's actual clothing. Like I dressed up as my D&D character in one of her iterations. But like everything else that I've made is usually just for the vibe. Like I just kind of make garments. I am going to try to start delving more into cosplay. I have a couple plans for what to make because I want to start making stuff that's actually recognizable to take when we make convention appearances. So I'm planning on when we go to Colossal Con this year, I want to dress up as Wirt from Over the Garden Wall. Well, I'm either doing Wirt or I'm doing Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle. Haven't decided which yet, but I have to make one of those if I'm doing that. But yeah, I just make things. We talked about it a lot. I made a dragon. It's, again, not a cosplay, but like, yeah, I make stuff.
That is something we've talked about for a while is like all of us have had ideas of stuff we wanted to do for cosplay. It's just, as any of you probably know, if you're anywhere interested in cosplay at all, it takes a lot of effort to do cosplay.
It's so expensive.
And it costs money and
time.
And Ashlyn, out of all of our friends, seems to be the only one who has ever had the energy and the time management to be willing to put forth such an effort to do so, whereas the rest of us have either never managed to or we've thought about it and just been like, that would just be so much work.
Because that's my blockade is the fact fabric is just so expensive. It's
Mhm.
not even economical to make your own clothing, let alone cosplay material, because fabric in itself is freaking expensive. Once you start heading into the cosplay stuff that's like printed and specially made and stuff like that, you're looking at like 30 bucks a yard, and
Yep.
most things you're gonna need more than 1 yard of fabric.
I
You're
don't know
gonna
how
need at
Ashlyn
least
does it.
five. I don't know. Because
Yeah.
I have the advantage of I have a pretty good backstock of scrap fabric and donated stuff and like secondhand fabric that I've gotten from years of theater and cleaning out costume closets and stuff. But it's hard when you run into specialized projects that you can't just use old fabric for because you need like specific colors and specific patterns and specific yardages because I like none of the fabric that I have in my stock do I have enough of to make a garment in large quantities.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't get
Maybe
that.
instead of at her job she works at, because also, obviously, I'm not going to dox where Ashlyn works, but Ashlyn works like multiple jobs. Like she works several jobs.
Hmm.
Maybe instead of doing like the modern thing of getting money, she just asks them to pay her with the barter system.
There you go.
And
True.
she just gets paid in fabrics.
That would be the dream.
Hmm. You can't tax fabrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, yeah, I always run into the issue. I always want to do cosplay, always, always. I also run into issues between money and time, sort of. I could probably make it work time-wise. My problems are one, know-how. I have zero of that for any point of cosplay. I can't make things, I can't make clothes, I can't make props, I can't work with foam or plastic. I'm not a crafts person. I don't work with crafts. I have a hard time cutting paper with scissors, admittedly. Uh,
That's concerning.
I know, I know. So I
Dang.
usually turn to others where I'll be like, I will pay you. I want your help. I just need your help. I'll turn to my friends and be like, I need help. I'll turn to my parents. I need help. And they're like, heck yes. Then I'm like, great. Let's work on it. And then we never meet and work on it. And that's how
I've
it
told
usually
you
works.
multiple times, I will construct whatever you want me to construct.
It's true. We're working on something. We're gonna get there. I was gonna talk about that, but
Yeah, did you finish the sword?
that is done. But that's Dylan's cross to
Oh,
bear.
literally.
Almost literally, yeah.
Literally.
Um, but what was I gonna say? I guess I'll just go down my line first before I forget anything. So I've been funny fact actually, the first time Jordan ever met me, I was in cosplay, though it was a poorly made one that I did with my folks.
Dang.
That was when I was in middle school and I had gone to a convention with some common friends, and I was in a huge League of Legends phase then, which I have not been since, of course. Um, and I really, really liked the weapons of a character called Draven. Draven has these spinning axes that he throws, and so they come back to him when they like hit somebody. And I thought that was freaking sick because like what he is, they're normal axes that he can throw, but when he presses an ability, they start spinning and they have two blades on either side. And I was like, that's sick. So I asked my dad, I said, can we make that? And he said, yeah, sure. All we got to do is make some foam and then we can put some rotating things in it. And we did. And that was sick. The actual character slash outfit I could not do because I was like a 12-year-old boy. And he was like a grown adult man, Draven is. But we got the weapons. So I've kind of taken on the helm as a prop guy anymore. But then, so that was whatever. We went to that convention. I don't think there was a cosplay contest, or if there was, I wasn't aware of it because it was my first ever con.
No, I don't think Origins does cosplay.
I didn't think so. But I think they do like a parade where if you're in cosplay, they all walk, but there's no contest.
Yeah, at least they don't do craftsmanship, I don't think.
Yeah. When I think it was either the very next year or 2 years later, I did another cosplay at another convention. I don't remember where it was. It was near Cleveland, though, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure if it's even around anymore. But I had played the BioShock games between then and now, or then and then.
Then
But
and then.
um, and I decided to do a cosplay as a Big Daddy, specifically the one from BioShock 2, whose name I'm forgetting right now. He has it's like he's a type of Big Daddy.
What you're talking about?
I can't remember right
No
now.
clue.
It was a special type. But anyway, I was cosplaying as that Big Daddy. And me and my parents worked together to get the whole outfit. We got the diver's helmet, we got the drill, we got the boots, we got the whole outfit. It was actually really nice. It was not a one-to-one, much to my chagrin, but it was a pretty good outfit. Like the boots were heavy, the diver helmet was cool, the drill was nice. Um, and when I competed, now this I would have been 13 or 14 years old. I went and competed, and they had us in different age brackets. So I was in a competition against two people, which, funnily enough, were cosplaying League of Legends characters. They were two women. I remember them. They were cosplaying two scantily clad female characters. Um, and they were together and they had done a skit and I was by myself so I couldn't do a skit. So I did my thing and I was like, well, I did the best I could. I don't think I'll win. I think I'll lose to those girls because their costume was very good looking. They had the skit and everything. And when they announced the awards, they ended up winning. And I was like, oh. But then they ended up announcing me for the most like the character, which was amongst the entire contestants. It was not within my bracket, my age bracket. And when they came up to me, they were like, "We really liked the way you walked as your character. You really embodied him." And I was like, "Wow!" And they gave me a little trophy and a gift card, and that
Heck
made me go
yeah.
like, "I love cosplay." Then I got into high school and never did it again because I was like, "I'm busy now. I don't have time for this." And I started getting self-conscious about myself, so I quit doing that. Um, but I'm trying to think what we've done recently in recent times. Obviously, we already talked about our Ren Fair. We talked about
I
we
was
did
gonna say you
theater.
dressed as Hank Hill.
Uh, did I not do another one? I don't think I've done another one, but I've had ideas for another one. My plan, for a time, I was thinking of doing Il Capitano from Genshin Impact. However, since he is now his official model has dropped, I don't think I could pass as him. So I'm like, okay, I won't do that. Um, Other ones I've thought about, but I think are insanely labor intensive, are Urgot, also from League of Legends. Sorry, I don't learn my lesson. Um, Ainzul Gone from Overlord, which Jordan and I have talked about, and one day I would like to do, but I think it's gonna have to
I
wait
had a
till
plan for that.
we. I'm gonna need more money.
Yes, Sam.
I need money, Arthur. But I think it'll be dope. The one that I'm trying to do now is Kinzo's Jiromiya from Umineko. Um, because I think that one's going to be relatively simple. It's multifaceted because it's a suit, so I could really wear it anywhere. And I'm really just going to need Jordan's help for makeup
Mhm.
to make me look old.
Lots of hair white.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a blast because I just get to scream and yell and act senile. And who doesn't love doing that? So that's pretty much it.
Fine, I'll be Nazi. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, and then I'll give you a child and say this is mine, take care of it. Sorry,
Yep.
spoilers.
I figured. I
That's I think that's all I have to share about my own past with cosplay, but I got
the
plans,
passion
Arthur.
is there. The idea to do it is there. We just don't
Mhm.
have the means necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think Levi and I should be Fuwamoko.
Uh who's gonna be who?
Who do you think?
Well, my name is Mokokoe. Anyways,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
will
no,
say
we,
though, if we all start cosplaying when we go to conventions, we're gonna have to get more than one hotel room, guys.
nah.
We cannot all cosplay and also keep everything in the same hotel room. It's not possible.
That sounds
At
like
this point, it's
quitter
a
talk,
challenge,
Jordan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I did not hump a wall for no reason. Well, okay, no, I did do that, but
Nobody asked
it
you
was
to do
kind
that.
of a consequence of the room, you know?
One member of our troop did not pee into a bottle for no reason.
Well, no, he did kind of do
He
that,
did
but
kind of do that.
but-
It was kind of for no reason.
it was a sort of a consequence of the room.
Oh no. I had wiped that from my memory that had happened.
I get reminded about it.
I will
Uh,
never forget.
For reference, audience, go check out our 2024 Colossal Con video where I'm almost
Yeah.
certain we had to have talked about that.
We had
Probably.
we may not have,
Maybe.
just to hide the fact that we were all trying to sleep in one hotel room.
Who cares?
It's far enough
Also-
removed, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's been months
The
now. What are
statute
they
of
gonna do?
limitations is
What-
up.
Yeah. Also, if you're close enough, come see us at Colossal Con. Because we go to
might
that.
be cosplaying.
Yeah.
We might be
You'll-
cosplaying, but we usually do a panel or two. So
Yeah, you can come up to me when I'm not in a cosplay and be like, "What happened to Kenzo?" And then I'll be like,
yeah,
"Oh,
you can call us out on our failed
true,
promises.
true."
Uh, and no, producer, what you got
Mm.
to do is someone comes up to you and they say, "What happened to Kenzo?" And you have to say, "Without love, it cannot be seen."
True, it's a cosplay, but you can only see it if you have love in your heart.
Precisely.
AKA, I'm lazy and didn't want to do it, but
Yeah.
I still want to say I'm in cosplay.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, I can hit them with they say, "Where's Kinzo?" And I say, "Silly, Kinzo is dead at the start of all games."
Precisely. You
And then I
you guys just
disappear
gotta
before their
you
eyes.
gotta carry out a little strip of red paper with you everywhere you go, and you just hand it to them. Ginzo is dead at the beginning of all games.
Oh, yeah. Um, well, okay, here's the next question then to keep this thought going. Dream cosplay for all of you, and we'll go in the same order. So, the one thing you wish you could do if time and money and effort was not a consideration whatsoever, just you wanted it, boom, you had it instantly. What one? What would be your dream cosplay? And I'll elaborate if you have any more questions about it as well.
Well, I
And
know
if there's anything
mine.
else you want me to know, I'm kidding. I'm just
You I know mine. I don't know if I've mentioned it on podcasts before, but I know I've mentioned it to you guys before, just because I think from how he looks in all the art that is shown of him, that I think my face and definitely my hair matches him a lot. I would be the God Emperor of Mankind from Warhammer 40K if I could, which would be obviously you said money's not an issue. Probably never going to happen because that would take so much effort to do. Because if you, I mean, even if you just want to cosplay like a space marine, people, if you see people who do it, they have to make the
It's
suits so that
intense.
like their feet are actually elevated like 2 or 3 feet off the ground because space marines are like 8 feet tall. So you have to wear these giant boots. The God Emperor is like 12 feet tall. So I would literally basically be in like a mech suit where my feet would be where the cosplay's knees were, probably. Um,
I'm
but
doing
yeah,
stilt
no,
walking.
and yeah, I would basically stilt walking, and I would also be wearing basically like a tank on top of myself because my arms would not. It would have to be one of those things where I had like a contraption that controlled hands with my because my hands would not nearly be long enough to go all the way down the arms either. So it would be a mechanical nightmare to have to make an accurate God Emperor of Mankind outfit, which also obviously I know people are like, oh, you could just do like a small one where it's your size, but that would be lame. Like I want to go with a whole mile and do the whole thing, make him the big giant. Also, I said he was like 12 feet tall earlier, just in case we have like one Warhammer 40K, Dylan.
Yeah, I was gonna say
We,
Dylan's going to correct you in the comments.
he's probably not like 12 feet tall. He's probably much taller than that, but that was just me giving a general exaggeration. But yeah, no, that's what I would do just because if you don't know what the God Emperor looks like, go ahead and just look up a picture of him real quick. Not the skeleton, not the one of the skeleton, the one of what he looks like before he's a skeleton. And I think at least my general look, there are a couple videos where my face are in them. Is similar enough to him that I wouldn't actually have to do much on the like makeup or doing my hair up or anything side of it. It would just be the giant suit of armor, golden armor that I would have to wear.
Was it the Space Marine that we saw at Colossal Con this past year, or was that a different giant walking mech? I can't remember because that was also
I
around the time
think
that Fallout came out, so I couldn't remember if that
You're
was
right. No, it was
or if that was
it
from
was a
Fallout or if
Brotherhood
it
of
was
Steel
yes, it was.
suit of power armor,
I
which was
knew we
really
saw
good.
some kind of power armor, but I was like, was it Brotherhood of Steel or was it was it Space Marine? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was a Brotherhood of Steel paladin. Yeah,
It was
a very good
massive, and
suit
they
of armor.
cleared the pathway as they were walking through
True.
the con. It was really
I mean,
cool.
if you didn't clear away, you were getting trampled. But
Yeah.
I did look it up, by the way. You were actually pretty spot on. The God Emperor of Mankind is between 3.5 and 4 meters tall, which ends up being about 11 and a half to 13 feet.
That's
Damn.
smaller than I thought.
Small.
Well, just comparatively to all of the other things in the Warhammer universe, the 40K
Comparatively.
universe.
No. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That'd be fun. But it would be, like you said, it would be crazy to do. Just the armor alone. His armor
Mhm.
especially.
Yes.
Those pauldrons were like 3 times the height of his head.
Mm-hmm.
You would not
Mm-hmm.
be able to look left or right.
No, not at all.
Oh, all right. Jordan, dream cosplay?
I've got a couple. I've got ideas. Right now the fixation has become, so I'm seeing Critical Role later next year, and I really want to dress up, but I don't know what I want to dress up as, and I had an idea. I really want to build fresh cut grass. Like, I want to build a puppet of fresh cut grass. I don't know if that counts as cosplay, but I'm going to say it does, because it is indeed a character that I am emulating. I want to build fresh cut grass. Um, Also on the Over the Garden Wall train, because I want to do a bunch of characters from Over the Garden Wall for like different sequential conventions. I want to go as the villain from Over the Garden Wall, the Beast, because there are two forms that you see the Beast, where it's this shadowy mass of like roughage and antlers and stuff with these giant glowing eyes, and then there's a point where they turn a lantern on him and it's this weird gnarled flesh tree thing. And so I want to figure out how to make both of those exist in a single costume, and I think I have an idea of like doing some kind of sculpt with like almost a deer skull type base with the gnarled tree stuff, and then draping it in like a sheer black fabric. But it would be an enormous build, and I don't have, again, time, money, resources to do so yet. So I'm not going to start that one until I have like an actual concrete plan. And I would have to think, there are so many costumes that I want to make and so many builds that I want to do, um, that it's hard to like have a whole sequential list.
So you're going down
Jordan's being an artificer.
the Potter Puppet Pals path.
What?
Sorry, I was just gonna say you're going down the puppet path, but the alliteration made me think of Potter Puppet Pals.
I love Potter Puppet Pals. Yeah, puppets
Um,
have been on the brain lately. I've wanted to be, that's my dream career. I got a film degree so that I could be a Muppeteer aspirationally. Didn't
Mhm.
take any puppeteering or building classes in college because they weren't offered, but I'm now teaching myself how to build puppets. I also would like to do one of these, like, because I'm really interested in like historical sewing methods. I watch a lot of YouTubers that cover like how to do these historical sewing methods and make garments handmade from all the beading work and everything like that. I would like to make like a historically accurate Disney princess at some point. I think would be very
Mm.
cool. Like find a character that has some kind of basis in some history and make a historically accurate version of that. I think would be really sick, because I love, like, I've taught myself how to embroider, I've taught myself how to bead. I have a good basis in sewing knowledge, but it would just be, again, very expensive because that's a lot of fabric, and my fingers would fall off. But I'm excited and I want to do it at some point.
Hercules.
That'd be cool.
True.
My favorite Disney princess.
They are
Mhm.
considering, I don't know if you heard about that, considering doing a live action version of Hercules.
I did see
But
that.
but it's supposed to be from the perspective of Hades, and they're gonna call it Hades.
That I'm more okay with.
I'm not, because I don't think they're bringing James Woods back.
Mm. Mm.
He made the role. Sorry.
He did.
He was really good as Hades. He
He was.
was iconic. Anyway,
Perhaps you're forgetting one little small tiny detail. I own you.
yeah. I don't really know what I'd be considered or what I want as a dream one, despite being the asker of the first question.
Dang.
I because I already mentioned I'd be interested in doing Urgot from League of Legends and Ainzul Gond from Overlord. If you guys are not familiar, I don't know if I've ever had you looking them up, but I feel like if you now's the time, look up Urgot from League of Legends.
I know what the
Um,
other one is. I haven't looked at that one.
because the reason I think this would be a really hard one, but I would love to do it, is because he's got 6 legs.
Oh yeah, you've
Oh.
mentioned this to me before. That's right.
Yeah, I think he'd be sick.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Wouldn't it? He's the one that inspired Ratsistus' final form, because he has the oven stomach, the furnace stomach, drags people in
Ah.
and eats them.
I see.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know how you would accomplish that.
Well, I imagine
Just
somebody would
install a furnace in your
volunteer.
stomach.
Oh. But
Mm.
I mean, that's all I can think of that it's like a dream cosplay of mine. I don't want to do anything too crazy. That's that right there. That and Einzelgone are my upper bounds of crazy. You know what I mean? I don't want anything like if I wanted to do a dragon, I probably wouldn't do it because that would involve a lot of work, a lot of puppetry probably.
Yeah.
Too much
Just
for
six
me.
months and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Uh I want something that's more of a costume, but I don't want something that's just a costume either. So, I don't know. I can't think of any other character that comes to mind that I'm like, I've always wanted to cosplay as them. I don't think so.
What? Sorry.
What'd you do?
I'm looking through all these pictures of Urgot,
What?
and there's one where very different from all the other ones.
Did you find the Star Guardian Urgot skin?
Is that the one where he's got the cat
Yeah,
ear hoodie?
that's the Star
Yup.
Guardian
It's a
Urgot
picture
skin.
of him in front of three of the divas, is what I'm just gonna call them. The singer lady characters. And he's in that skin.
Yep.
And
Well, it was because League of Legends has a bunch of skins. Okay, I'm gonna go on a brief tangent here about this because it's funny. Um, League of Legends has several skin lines, and one of them that they first had was Star Guardian, which was a play on Sailor Moon, right? It started with a character named
Mm.
Lux, and it was a bunch of really cute girl characters that had these skins. And people started making memes and were like, when are we gonna get Star Guardian Urgot? Because he's ugly. Like, not only is he a guy, but he's freaking ugly. So they were like, when are we gonna get Star Guardian Urgot? Ha ha ha. And then Riot said, now. And they made it.
There it
And
is. I
so,
put it in the
There are the
Discord.
consequences of your actions. Oh, that is certainly something.
and so that's Star Guardian Urgot. And,
Yep. It was just sitting in the middle of the
oh,
Google Images page in between all these other
Oh my
ones of him.
God.
And
yep. I have an ancient skin of him that isn't sold anymore called Butcher Urgot, which is really cool. I liked it. Um, and if you look at a lot of his skins, it's very different because it's him being brutal and he's this gross guy. He's an abomination. I wonder if he's in Arcane because he is in the same place as those people. He's in Piltover and Zaun. He
Maybe
wasn't in
next
the first
season.
season, but he might be in the second. Um, but he's kind of like the penguin of Zaun. He's like a deformed mob boss, is what
Mm.
he is. Um, so it's funny when all of a sudden you have Star Guardian Urgot. Because lore wise makes no sense and just general vibe wise make no dang sense. But I
What's his
guess he
secret
also
alter ego?
true. Togru. That's Urgot backwards.
Yeah, I figured
I
it
It's
out.
got it.
Togru.
I got
It's
it.
Togru.
I-
It's better than
Oh.
Torgu. I don't know. That's cosplay. I
So
make
that's
props.
that's your ultimate cosplay, Star Guardian.
Not Star Guardian. I want base Urgot.
Ah, dang it.
You tried.
Rats.
No, I don't want to be her either.
Dang.
Oh, I remember what I was going to mention. We talked about the prop making and stuff. I did. It has been alluded to. I don't know if it's been alluded to on the podcast, but I have finished a one-to-one replica of the Burke Dragon Slayer sword, Guts Burke.
Yay!
My goodness, that took so much time and effort. Uh, but it's one-to-one, and I'm proud
Holy
of what we made.
moly.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's
Poor Dylan.
just to let the audience know, this was made on a promise that if it was given, our resident Dylan, who has been on the podcast once or twice, is
Mhm.
going to cosplay Guts with
Guts
it.
Burke.
And it's 1-to-1.
It's one-to-one, not only in size, but audience, let me tell you. So the one skill I do have in my toolbox, which is largely due in part to my father, is woodworking. And the only way that we could fathom making this sword out of the skills we had was out of wood, because we wanted it to have the same heft as the actual sword, not foam. I didn't want someone to be able to lightly pick it up and throw it around. So this thing is exceptionally heavy
Mhm.
because it is taller than Levi.
Oh
Yep.
my
Um,
God.
but it is made of completely out of wood.
Mhm.
And I'm not just talking like a wood like box. No, it is not hollow. It is completely wood.
Basically a
with
small
paint.
tree.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
It took several big pieces of wood combined together to make the sword.
That's so
Get
cool.
lifting, Dylan. Get lift.
True. That's the thing is my dad and I both attempted to lift it purely from the handle. Couldn't do it.
Dang.
The only way we could lift it is putting one hand on the handle and one hand on the sword itself.
We're gonna have to put wheels on the bottom of it if he takes it to a convention.
No, he's just gonna have to get comfortable. What he's gonna have to do is he's gonna have to throw it up over his shoulder once and leave it there.
Yep.
And hope that we don't encounter any low ceilings.
Somebody
Or
start
people who
measuring
are
the
like,
Kalahari.
"Oh, cool, can I?"
Oh my gosh,
No,
you know
you
there's
should
gonna
let
be
people
that.
hold it. It would be funny.
But I'm all for it, but then I'm afraid of Dylan having to throw it back over his shoulder every single
Well,
time.
what he needs to do is Dylan just needs to get really swole.
He said he'd been going to the gym in preparation for it.
And then it'll be even funnier if he doesn't have that difficult of a time putting it up and down,
It
and
would be
people are
really
like,
funny.
"Oh,
People are
cool,
like,
can I
"Oh."
try?" And he's like, "Oh, sure."
Hits the floor.
Yeah.
And worst case, we will help him carry it if he's gonna
Mm-mm.
carry it at a convention.
We said earlier, this is his cross to bear.
I will help him carry it if he's gonna carry it at a con.
I will be careful as well because I don't want it to break. Because
Yes.
despite it being wood and heavy and stuff, it is very susceptible to the wood chipping. So gotta be gentle with it. The one kicker that I'm also gonna mention though is because the way we've worked it out, the most feasible way for Dylan to cosplay Gus Burke is going to be he's actually going to wear a non-corresponding cosplay with the Dragon Slayer. So there's going to be some nerds that's going to be actually you shouldn't have that sword yet, and we're going to hit them with the
And
sword.
then, yeah, Dylan can just crush them.
So yeah, I think that's my niche I found. I'm the prop guy. I make props.
Heck yeah.
I did make a table cover for the table we have in Levi's basement. So
He did do that.
yeah,
It's a pretty nice table cover.
true.
The wood did warp a little bit after about like a year, but it's still not that bad.
Cold and wet, that'll do it to it.
Yeah.
Shabalaba do it to it, in fact.
It's probably because I threw ice water on it.
Yeah, it might also have to do with the moldy whoopie pies.
Probably was that actually. Oh, let's end the. I don't know if we've ever told that story.
And we never will.
No.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed the episode you just listened to. If you really like our content, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications on YouTube, and look for us on Spotify. If you'd like to see us continuing to do more fun projects in the future, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can find our page linked in the description above all of our other social media links. And finally, if you'd like to keep up with the zany shenanigans of our lives and check out some more skit-based content and things like that, check us out on Twitter and TikTok, links in the description. And hey, thanks!